Her Excellency Dame Calliope Paulette Louise, Governor General of St. Lucia Emerita, Honorable Sean Edward, Minister for Education, Sustainable Development, Innovation, Science and Technology and Vocational Training, Honorable Dr. Pauline Antoine Prosper, the Parliamentary Secretary for Education, Sustainable Development, Innovation, Science and Technology and Vocational Training, Mr. Kendall Kodra, Acting Permanent Secretary of the Department of Education, Innovation and Vocational Training, Ms. Althea Emmanuel, Acting Deputy Permanent Secretary of the Department of Education, Innovation and Vocational Training, Dr. James Fletcher, CARICOM Climate Envoy and your keynote speaker today, Ms. Lenel Malzer, Director of Innovation, other heads of department, head of Taiwan Technical Mission, heads of World Bank projects, SKIP and UBEC, innovators, ladies and gentlemen, captains, crew members, wave makers, and tide turners. A pleasant good morning to you all. Welcome to the Symposium on Innovation and Creativity, where we answer the call of the ocean, a call to sustain, innovate, prosper. My name is Mr. Sam Udovic, your MC for today, and it's my absolute pleasure to guide you through this voyage of inspiration and imagination. Our theme today, the ocean's call, innovate, sustain, prosper, reminds us that, like the sea, creativity knows no limits. Innovation flows when we protect what sustains us and dream beyond the shore. Let's now anchor ourselves in purpose as we rise to honor our country with the national anthem. Please remain standing as we invite Mr. Patterson Abraham, Deputy Registrar of Examinations and Officer in Charge at the Assessment Unit, to lead us in a moment of prayer, grounding us in unity and wisdom as we set sail into today's journey.
Psalms 24:1 reminds us that the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein. As we pray before God, we are reminded of his awesome goodness towards us. Let us pray. Gracious and eternal God, we pause in your presence this day with hearts full of gratitude and minds open to the wonder of your creation. You, O Lord, are the source of all wisdom, knowledge, and creativity. The seas, the oceans, they declare your majesty and the works of your hands. Inspire us to innovate with purpose and reverence. As we gather for this World Creativity and Innovation Week under the theme, The Ocean's Call, Innovate, Sustain, Prosper, we ask for your divine guidance. Bless this public symposium and all who have come together in the spirit of collaboration. Grant us the insight to see the ocean not only as a resource, but as a sacred trust, a vast and vibrant reminder of our duty to sustain and protect. Infuse in this gathering with creative ideas that promote sustainable solutions, inspire educational transformation, and empower future generations. May the discussions held today lead to meaningful action that brings prosperity, not just in wealth, but in wisdom, well-being, and stewardship. We commit this function to you, and we ask that everything said and done here today bring honor to your name, benefit to our nation, and hope to our world. In your holy and matchless name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Abraham. Please be seated. Gentle reminder, passengers, our exits are to your right, to your left, and also to the back. Life jackets, you pull the button. Well, you have them already, bright orange life jackets. Thank you for that. Now, with the wind in our sails and purpose in our hearts, we welcome our first speaker to officially open today's voyage with the remarks, Ms. Lenel Malzier, the Director of Innovation.
Thank you so much to our very capable Master of Ceremonies. And with your permission, Your Excellency, may I adopt the protocol? Thank you. I also want to make special mention to Her Excellency for always being with the Innovation Division and being a champion behind the scenes, having those conversations in places that we don't have access to, as well as our Minister, who is always advocating on our behalf for additional financing to ensure that the mission and the vision is actualized. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests and fellow innovators, the week of World Creativity and Innovation is always a festive time for us. This is a period where the Innovation Division gets to innovate how and where we bring the message to you, and that everyone has the potential to be an innovator, whatever their passion. Let me please state that we had our very ambitious ideas, and we prefer venues that reflect the event theme. We wanted to take you aboard an experience to sail on a barge today. However, in any innovation, there are sometimes pain points, and in our case, it was the financing. So we had to settle for this humble space, but yet very scenic and thematic area. You see, as we dared to dream, as we dared to imagine, we moved closer and closer to solving our problems of bringing you the ocean experience. As we celebrate World Creativity and Innovation Week, we are reminded that innovation is not simply about creating things that are new. It is about transforming our challenges into opportunities and responding to the ever-changing world around us. In some cases, it may be creating a future that is better, brighter, greener, bluer, oranger, if this is a word, or more orange, thus setting us on a path of prosperity for all. Every year when we celebrate World Creativity and Innovation Day and Week, the Innovation Division chooses a priority sector to highlight innovation and the potential for innovation in that sector. This year, we chose to highlight the blue economy. Over time, we hope that this effort of changing our thematic focus will help to communicate succinctly that every St. Lucian has the potential to innovate. So you ask, why innovation in the blue economy, and why does it matter to us? Noting that the blue economy refers to the sustainable use of ocean resources for economic growth, providing livelihoods and jobs while preserving the health of marine and coastal ecosystems, as the definition shares. This alone makes it very important to a country surrounded by water like ours. So this year's theme is meant to highlight a symbolic relationship, in fact, a symbiotic one for the biologists among us, which would share how we can take care of the ocean and how the ocean can take care of us. From the fisheries to agriculture, tourism to shipping and renewable energy, we deepen our hope in the future by how we manage, protect, and ideate towards making it different. But the world is changing, speaking of different things. Climate change is a reality, and our ocean is being the one to face the brunt of the experience. Sea levels are rising. This is not a fallacy. In fact, I'm working 5 years in the Innovation Division and having supervision over the Career and Development Center in Canaries. We actually witnessed the ocean coming closer, leaving us almost with no shore to the back of our building. It is through innovation that we can find sustainable solutions to the challenges we face, harness the full potential of the ocean, and safeguard them for future generations. The United Nations has statistics on a lot of things, and they say to us that by 2030, which is the period when we'll be reporting on the gains of the Sustainable Development Goals, we would see that the demand for seafood and coastal tourism, shipping, and renewable energy will grow exponentially. This presents an incredible opportunity for a country like St. Lucia. But it also comes with a significant responsibility. If we are to truly benefit from the ocean's economy, we must do all in our power to prepare the ocean for our coming. Innovation, therefore, is not just about this economic gain. It's about creating solutions that are sustainable and equitable so that everybody gets their due portion of the pie. We must work together, government, businesses, scientists, and local community, to foster that kind of environment. By leveraging technology, which is also important, data, and creative thinking, we can protect our oceans, create new opportunities, and ensure that our future is one for prosperity. The Innovation Division also took a risk today in introducing a new form of media. In the past, we've used paints, canvas paintings for your shirts. We've also used a thematic approach where someone had an experience, a journey over, it was 7 years, and created the emblems of last year. But this year, we decided to use a graphic artist by the name of Ronald O'Brien, who did a remarkable job of merging or creating a chasm between our theme and what it speaks about and reflecting innovation in general. So as I close, I remind you that the innovation is not just about what we create. It's about what we protect and how we adapt. Please remember the profound responsibility that each one of us has to our ocean, to our island, and to our people. Together, we can chart a course forward that is more sustainable so we can have a prosperous future. Let us not be timid to try, and if we fail, we remember the words of Winston Churchill, who said, "Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." The ocean is calling. It is time for us to answer. I thank you.
I must say that was a close call. Thank you for that powerful launch into today's conversation, Ms. Malzer. Ladies and gentlemen, one final reminder, in case of any robbery, any theft of your personal items, in case you lose any personal items, please consult the mobile station to the back. Compliments the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Verngard. We thank him for that. And before we continue, let us drift briefly into creativity with our first interlude, a moment to reflect, to recharge, and to remember that even in science and strategy, science and technology, there's always room for the arts, for rhythm and soul, and this morning, through dance.
just wanna sit here at your feet. I'm caught up in this holy moment. I never wanna leave. Oh, I'm not here for blessings. Jesus, you don't owe me anything more than anything that you can do. I just want you. And I'm sorry when I've just gone through the motions. I'm sorry when I just sang another song. Take me back to where we started. I open up my heart to you. I'm caught up in your presence. I just wanna sit here at your feet. I'm caught up in this holy moment. I never wanna leave. Oh, I'm not here for blessings. Jesus, you don't owe me anything more than anything that you can do. I just want you. Oh, I just want you and nothing else, and nothing else. Nothing else will do. I just want you and nothing else, and nothing else, nothing else will do. I just want you. Oh, nothing else, nothing else, nothing else.
Ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause for such refreshing tide of talent. And of course, special thanks to our performers. We now return to more enriching currents of thought. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Her Excellency Dame Calliope Paulette Louisy, the Governor General of St. Lucia Emerita, as she shares her unique take on today's theme.
Well, thank you. I don't know how unique my take will be on this theme, but I just would like to commend the Department of Innovation and in fact, the Sustainable Development Department of the Ministry of Education for this annual get-together, as I put it, so that we could take a look and a reminder of what we need to be doing to achieve that sustainable development that we speak so much about. I think it was in 2018 when I became a member of the National Steering Committee of the GEF, Global Environmental Fund, UNDP Small Grants Project, that we started thinking about doing local research and innovation. And it was in this context that I think it was about maybe 4 or 5 years ago that the unit called for the government to declare a decade of research and innovation. And since then, we've been trying really to get people to be conscious of the fact that when we talk about research and innovation, you don't have to be, the greatest scientist on earth. It is just taking ordinary things and using them, differently and to meet your needs. About in 2021, in fact, we had put together a symposium. It was a one-day symposium which we held in the parliamentary chamber in the House of Parliament. The theme was towards integrating research and innovation into sustainable development processes in St. Lucia. And it was a knowledge symposium. And this was the outcome of this symposium, and it's available. And I would really suggest that we become a little more familiar with some of the ideas. The ocean's call. I mean, as island people, we really don't need to be reminded that the ocean is all around us. But let the ocean the call not just simply be a day by the beach or, or swimming, but looking at the marine resources around us and see what we can make of it. Now, when we talk about the sea, I suspect most people just think about fishing. And it's probably not the most glamorous, profession or activity. But if you look at the other things that we can get from the sea around us, we will realize that there is so much need for more research, more innovation. And a lot has been happening. Just to look at our CMOS industry. I mean, it is making use of a marine resource. So there's biotechnology. And I don't know how many of you would have known, although I thought I mentioned that the last time I spoke, that a young, well, I don't know if he's still so very young, but from Labrie, who developed a mobile desalinating plant, particularly, for drought and, and small island states and persons without, the kind of water potential that we have. So Mr. Callis Noel, put together, as I said, I just wanted to say, not to denigrate him, but he didn't make it beyond third form at secondary school. Not that he was not capable, but he thought that, he had other ideas. And he didn't think that he needed to remain in school to take it further. So he developed this desalinating plant. And while we in St. Lucia have not really used it, you would be happy to know that a small island in the Pacific, Nauru, is in fact using Callis Noel's Life Cube, is what he calls it. And the second project, which he's working on, which will soon, I think, be will be implemented, is what he calls a smart FAD, a fishing aggregate device, I think it's called, and which works by satellite technology. So there, just thinking of this use of the sea all around us, we get a sense of the kinds of things we could in fact be doing as we innovate, create, and add our bit to the blue economy in our region. So with just these few words, let me just wish the symposium all the best. And And let it not simply be that we meet every week, every year, talk about it. At the end of each year, I would like to see tangible product or tangible, concrete research or innovation project. So that's for next year. It was there so that when we come, wherever we meet, then, we could have it, on display. I know the science and technology, the science fair, is run by the Ministry of Education, is a good breeding ground for research and innovation among the youth. So let's make better use of it. And for the commercial and business people and the moneyed people, let us look at these small beginnings and capitalize them, and let's make our own contribution as island people to the ocean's call. Thank you so much.
And Dame Paulette, we just want to say thank you for being a champion for the Innovation Division at all times and in all places.
Ding dong. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a special announcement. We thank you once more for choosing Ocean View for your voyage today. And now we invite for special words a representative from the World Bank Project, UBEC.
Good morning to everyone. I wish to adopt the protocol already established. It is my honor to be here today to represent the Unleashing the Blue Economy of the Caribbean, UBEC project, and to enlighten you on our upcoming programs and activities that are geared towards improving St. Lucia's blue economy and ensuring ocean sustainability and preservation. The World Bank defines the blue economy as a sustainable use of ocean resources for economic growth, improved livelihoods, and jobs while preserving the health of the ocean ecosystem. This definition directly correlates to UBEC's mandate in the blue economy space, which is to expand existing linkages across blue economy sectors, such as fishing, marine tourism, and solid waste management. Also, to stimulate economic recovery through direct support towards building marine and coastal resilience in these sectors, and to strengthen climate resilience, competitiveness, and overall ocean sustainability. With such a compelling and overarching mandate, the hallmark of UBEC's implementation strategy has involved and will continue to involve strategic collaboration and partnership with key stakeholders within the blue economy. Therefore, we jumped at the opportunity to collaborate with the Department of Innovation and, by extension, the Ministry of Education, Sustainable Development, Innovation, Science, Technology, and Vocational Training in the observance of World Creativity and Innovation Week 2025. Under the theme, The Ocean's Call, Innovate, Sustain, Prosper, UBEC recognizes this observance as a prime opportunity to be part of a campaign to drive awareness on the importance of ocean and marine ecosystem health and sustainability, particularly to those whose livelihoods depend on it. Under the emergency component of the project, within the past year, we have undertaken several activities in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Food Security, and Rural Development, more specifically geared towards direct assistance to fisher folk in an effort to preserve and enhance their livelihoods. These include the facilitation of a boat masters training program in partnership with the Police Marine Unit to provide training on safety at sea practices, the distribution of ice coolers and ice making machines to increase capacity for proper fish handling and storage, and the provision of safety grab bags to further enhance the ability of fisherfolk to navigate the ocean successfully and return home safely to their families. Moreover, the project has facilitated various consultations with fisherfolk on the construction, deployment, and use of fish aggregating devices to determine the best strategy for the continued application of such technology within the fishing sector. As we progress further into blue economy concentrated inputs, UBEC will continue to work closely with the Ministry of Tourism, Investment, Creative Industries, Culture, and Information to enhance St. Lucia's marine tourism product, ensuring continued sectoral growth while implementing measures to prioritize sustainability and resilience. These include the design and construction of an underwater sculpture park on the west coast of the island, the revision of the St. Lucia's tourism policy, and the development of a transportation demand study, which will incorporate a focus on strengthening sustainability measures to manage environmental impacts. Waste management is not forgotten. It is well known that the pollution of our ocean space has a direct negative impact on livelihoods that depend on marine life for their income. To this end, we will be working with the St. Lucia Solid Waste Management Authority to conduct a feasibility study to determine the most viable location for a new landfill facility. This is a first step in many to ensure that our waste is properly disposed of and thereby decreasing possible pollution for our vital marine space. With all of these initiatives underway and to be implemented, we can definitely say we are on track to answer the ocean's call. We remain committed to this cause, not only because it's part of our mandate, but because it will lead to a more prosperous and resilient St. Lucia. We recognize that together we can accomplish more, particularly as it relates to our blue economy. We reaffirm our commitment to working with strategic partners who share this common goal, such as the Department of Innovation. We'd like to say a special thank you to this department for recognizing the significance of our project's work in the blue economy sector. It has been a pleasure to work with you all over the past few weeks. Happy World Creativity and Innovation Week 2025. Thank you.
Here at Ocean View, we would like to thank our celebration partner, UBEC, for the continued support and collaboration. Here at Ocean View, we continue to listen to the ocean's call: innovate, sustain, prosper. Ladies and gentlemen, let us continue riding the current of insight as we invite our next speaker to share his vision. Please help me welcome Honorable Sean Edward, the Minister for Education, Sustainable Development, Innovation, Science and Technology, and Vocational Training for the next set of remarks.
Thank you very much, Chairperson of Proceedings. Permit me to adopt the protocol that has already been established, but I must acknowledge the presence of Governor General Emerita Dame Paulette Louisy, Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Sustainable Development, Innovation, Science, Technology, and Vocational Training, Dr. Pauline Antoine Prosper, Mr. Kendall Kudra, the Acting Permanent Secretary in the Department of Education, Ms. Alfia Emmanuel, the Acting Deputy Permanent Secretary, former cabinet colleague, very good friend of mine, CARICOM Climate Envoy, Dr. James Fletcher, heads of departments of the Ministry of Education, Sustainable Development, Innovation, Science, Technology, and Vocational Training, representatives of collaborating agencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. It is a true honor to stand before you today at the launch of Innovation and Creativity Day 2025, a day where ideas take center stage, where imagination is encouraged, and where bold thinking is not only welcome, but necessary. Our theme this year, the Ocean's Call, Innovate, Sustain, Prosper, could not be more timely or more urgent. It's a summon to every citizen, every entrepreneur, every young person, and every policymaker to answer the call of one of our most vital and powerful resources, our ocean. We St. Lucians are a people of the sea. The rhythm of the tides echo in our culture, our cuisine, and our way of life. The ocean has always been a part of our story, sometimes turbulent, sometimes calm, but always present. And today it calls us to write a new chapter. One that is driven not by extraction, but by innovation, not by exploitation, but by sustainability, not by mere survival, but by prosperity. Today we highlight the power of creativity and innovation in shaping a better future, particularly through what is now referred to as the blue economy. From our fisheries and tourism to marine biotechnology, ocean-based renewable energy, and sustainable aquaculture, the blue economy offers a horizon of opportunity. But we cannot unlock its full potential without new ideas, technological advances, and a deep sense of environmental responsibility. Innovation is not a distant goal. The emergence of the CMOS industry, powered by the ingenuity of coastal entrepreneurs, is a statement to innovation thriving at the community level. 2 weeks ago, I had the utmost pleasure of engaging with a CMOS harvester along our east coast, in Praslin to be precise. I can say without a shadow of a doubt that what was once a traditional practice has evolved into an economic force locally rooted with global relevance. But we must push further. We must fundamentally rethink how we teach our young people about the ocean. It is no longer enough to view it solely as a resource to be exploited or a backdrop for leisure on holidays and other times when we choose to venture to the beach. Instead, we must help young people reimagine the ocean as a dynamic classroom, a living laboratory, and a landcap for innovation. It is a space where science, sustainability, and entrepreneurship converge. When we position the sea as a site of exploration and opportunity, we unlock its full educational and economic potential. This shift in perspective must be matched by robust support for the innovators and change makers shaping the future of our blue economy in St. Lucia. These are the minds behind ecotourism experiences that preserve marine biodiversity, entrepreneurs designing ocean-friendly packaging to reduce plastic pollution, and technologists deploying drones to monitor coral reefs and other aspects of coastal ecosystems. Others are creating mobile apps that connect fisheries directly to markets, improving livelihoods and reducing waste. And let us not forget our very own Calice Noel, innovator extraordinaire, whose creations provide solutions for challenges experienced within the blue economy. By fostering this ecosystem of innovation, we equip our young people not only to protect the ocean, but to thrive because of the same ocean. And perhaps most importantly, we must build the partnerships needed to bring these ideas to scale. Let us be clear, innovation cannot happen in silos. No single ministry, no organization, no agency of government, no business can do it alone. Innovation in the blue economy must be collaborative, uniting the public and private sectors, academia, civil society organizations, and of course, the people of St. Lucia. Today, we celebrate the creators, the thinkers, the problem solvers, the ones daring to answer the ocean's call. But this must be more than just a calendar activity where once a year we come together, donning our orange shirts, and speak about innovation, about creativity, and about the ocean. It must be more than just a day or a week of activities. This must become a movement, a national mindset, and a call to action. one that invites every St. Lucian to see himself or herself as a change maker. Whether you are an artist, a student, a fisher, or a tech developer, you have a role to play in shaping the blue economy that sustains and uplifts all of us as a nation. Fellow St. Lucians, the ocean is calling, not for attention, but for action. My questions to you are, what is your idea? What problem would you solve? What can you do to share a St. Lucia that innovates, sustains, and prospers? So as we observe Innovation and Creativity Day, I invite all of you to dive in, explore, engage, create. When Dame Paulette spoke before me, she mentioned the importance of the ocean. And for a very long time now, we've been told that St. Lucia is a small island state, measuring 238 square miles. And whereas this is true, it is also important to note that we are a huge ocean country. There was a time in our history when our economic reliance was solely on the banana crop. And this was the main source of revenue for government to pave roads, to equip our hospitals, and to build schools. But times have evolved. And today we are saying that we have a resource at our disposal that can bring tremendous economic benefits to us, the ocean, for its potential in tourism, for transportation, for leisure, and so many other things that we can use the ocean for. But the ocean existing as it has for so many years will not derive those benefits for us until we bring our creativity to the fore and utilize it in ways that can complement some of the main economic activities we've been engaging in. So we all have a role. And even if you don't take to the ocean in a personal capacity for your livelihood, but you must develop an appreciation for the potential that lies therein and to be able to position yourself to lend support as a citizen to whatever we decide to do with our oceans as a country. So on behalf of the Cabinet of Ministers and the Prime Minister in particular, I want to wish the Department of Innovation in the ministry every success as they unveil a program of activities for Innovation Week. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the proceedings.
Thank you, Honorable Edward. And also thank you again for the call to action. Hopefully next year we could see not just passengers in their life jackets. Ladies and gentlemen, the sea of ideas today is truly vast and deep. Let's pause once again for an interlude. A moment to breathe in creativity and exhale inspiration. Ladies and gentlemen, a word shall be spoken. Thou art.
Thank you so very much. Good morning. You guys look fantastic in your orange. Please excuse my gray. This is, my name is Kishma Serie. I'm one of the co-founders of Dawat. We are a poetry group in the east of the island. And I've found that as a Caribbean, the minister alluded to it, small island developing states, that we have similar stories. We have similar issues. And I think one of the most powerful things was for us to make our cases as a unit, to come together, whether it be COP, whatever the case may be. So this is a piece called Once Upon Our Time. In typography, a margin is an area between the main center of a page and its edges. In trade and accounting, margins speak of leverage and security, profits and loss. Margins represent a demarcation of a gap between one area and another. Now the marginalized are fully aware of this and they know the feeling oh so well. The clear-cut lines, the distinctions, the separations, they have suffered lacerations from the razor-sharp edges of the lines between the haves and the have-nots. COVID-19 will go down as one of the most damaging times in history. But COVID-19 will also go down as the greatest catalyst for change. COVID has taken the form of the black sheep of the family who is tired of holding and housing individual and collective secrets, and as a result is now ready to speak. And it has revealed the inadequacies and the inefficiencies in our healthcare system. It has highlighted the prevalence of gender-based violence, as home is where the fist is. It has exposed the fragility of employment as many families were thrust into abject poverty, and this is a call to action. Like any strong Caribbean family, we must bind together. We must make the necessary changes. We must open our eyes to the impacts of our global community. Before we can tackle the issue of climate change, we need to change the climate that makes it acceptable to litter, to sun mine, to disrespect the very planet that houses us. This is a call for accountability. Accountability for us and those who through their very actions are harming and damaging us, our marine system, our ecosystem, our agriculture, our very livelihoods. We have felt with basket empty alarm the effects of inflation from the Russia-Ukraine war. We know with frightening clarity the threat to food security. Small businesses have endured the increase in operating and shipping costs, and technology continues to brag, exposing the gap of gender inequality, and the cost to live is at crisis levels. And now, as some of the nation's most environmentally passionate persons are here at Heroes Park, let's bring it home. Let's make the change. Let's create. Let's innovate. Let's recognize the need for restoration of our forests and our ecosystems. For the farmers who lost their crops due to flooding and their children's education is impacted as a result because she is unable to send them to school. Let's take action. For the single parent who is constantly working, and even with 2 or 3 jobs, she has yet to experience the bliss when you make 2 ends successfully meet. So let's take action. For the seamoss farmers and the fishers whose lives are tied into our marine system, for marine tourism, for culinary arts, for entrepreneurship, for the mangroves in desperate need of attention and restoration, for the various animal species on the brink of extinction, for the advocates of the environment who have been criticized and ostracized and incarcerated. Let's take action. For St. Lucia, for the region, for the ocean, for the livelihood, for the people, for you, for me, for our children. Let's innovate. Let's sustain. Let's prosper. Let's take action.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Kishma Serie, again echoing Honorable Edwards' words for a call to action. Let us indeed take action. Are you refreshed? Are you inspired? Good. Because here at Ocean View, this is our second motto. Ladies and gentlemen, now we head toward the crest of our journey. It's time to set the stage for a voice that will chart the course ahead. To introduce our keynote speaker, please welcome Mr. Siobhan Stanislas, IT Manager at the Innovation Division, who will prepare us for the wave of insight to come.
Good morning, everyone. I adopt the protocol already established. It's a privilege to introduce an individual whose vision and leadership have profoundly shaped St. Lucia, the Caribbean, and the global landscape of sustainable development. With a BSc in biochemistry from the University of Ottawa and a PhD in plant physiology from Cambridge, he has held influential roles including Permanent Secretary, Cabinet Secretary, and Minister of Sustainable Development. During his tenure, he advanced ICT access, reformed the energy sector, and improved public service delivery. He also led CARICOM's delegation at COP21 in Paris, playing a pivotal role in negotiating the Paris Agreement. His continued advocacy includes initiatives like Youth IRI and the Climate Tipping Point graphic novel series, both aimed at empowering the next generation in the fight against climate change. Please join me in welcoming a true son of the soil and a global change maker, Dr. James Fletcher.
Thank you very much, Mr. Master of Ceremonies, Governor General Emerita, and also my former teacher at, going way back, at the South Lewis Community College, Dame Paulette Louisy. Yeah, it was actually A-level college then, not even South Lewis Community College. Yes. My former cabinet colleague, we sat next to each other in cabinet, the Honorable Sean Edward, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, other distinguished representatives of the Ministry of Education and Sustainable Development. It's a portfolio too long for me to even remember. Parliamentary Secretary in that ministry, Honorable Pauline Prosper, Dr. Pauline Prosper. Esteemed panelists and presenters for later on, fellow citizens, and most importantly, some of the young innovators and change makers who are among us. Thank you for the invitation to deliver this keynote address. It is both a pleasure and an honor to join you on this important national symposium, a flagship event in the celebration of World Creativity and Innovation Day 2025. Allow me to commend the Innovation Division for anchoring this global observance so firmly within our national priorities. The United Nations established World Creativity and Innovation Day to remind us that the boldest steps towards a sustainable and inclusive future often begin with a single idea, an idea that challenges orthodoxy, reimagines reality, and refuses to be constrained by limits of what is in favor of what could be. So it actually challenges us to dream of what could be. The theme the oceans call, Innovate, Sustain, Prosper, resonates deeply with us in St. Lucia, given our status as a small island developing state that is defined by the vastness of our surrounding sea. And you heard Honorable Sean Edwards speak to this earlier. This is why so many within our SIDS community have started to refer to our countries as large ocean states. We're not small island states, we are large ocean states. The ocean is our origin, it is our boundary, it is our marketplace, and it is our inheritance. So today I want us to explore how innovation can become the vessel through which we respond meaningfully to the ocean's call and steer our nation towards prosperity that is rooted in sustainability. Innovation is not a process or a product. Innovation is a mindset. It is the courage to question the status quo, the creativity to imagine alternatives, and the discipline to convert vision into reality. In this era of complex challenges, and you heard some of them spoken about earlier, climate change, biodiversity loss, this economic uncertainty that we're living through, innovation is our most renewable resource. This is precisely why the United Nations has embedded innovation into the heart of the 2030 agenda. Whether we speak of ending poverty, which is Goal 1, ensuring food security, Goal 2, promoting decent work and economic growth, Goal 8, or conserving life below water, Goal 14, each of these goals demands creativity, collaboration, and bold innovation. Here in St. Lucia, we are fortunate because we are uniquely positioned to lead. But first, we must unlock the transformative power of innovation in a way that is grounded in our national realities and our regional aspirations. We must define innovation not as a luxury of advanced economies. That's very often when you think of innovation, we think it's something that happens in the developed economies in the US and Europe. That's not the case. Innovation is a necessity for our survival and our prosperity. The ocean that surrounds us is not a passive backdrop. It is a living economy that is teeming with opportunity. The blue economy represents the sustainable use of our ocean resources for economic growth, for our livelihoods, ecosystem health, and also for our pleasure. It is an economic paradigm that allows us to prosper without plundering, to advance without compromising. So for St. Lucia, this means expanding sustainable fisheries and aquaculture practices, developing marine biotechnology, as was spoken about earlier, investing in ocean-based renewable energy, such as offshore wind, wave energy, ocean thermal energy conversion, OTEC. These are all things that allow us to stop worrying about using diesel and gas to generate electricity, which is costing us more and more money, but actually using the resources that we have available to us. And these are resources that are replenishable and are available within our oceans. And enhancing our marine tourism experiences in ways that protect the very ecosystems that depend on them. Just last month, I addressed the St. Lucia Hospitality and Tourism Association at the annual general meeting on that very subject. How tourism can regenerate our terrestrial and marine ecosystems. How can it stop being extractive and start being regenerative? However, these opportunities will not materialize on their own. They must be curated and cultivated through investments in knowledge, in technology, and in human capacity. This is where innovation becomes the engine that powers the blue economy. Innovation can help us optimize fishing yield without depleting stocks, monitor ocean health using artificial intelligence and drone technology, and reduce marine pollution through circular economy practices. We cannot and we should not be content with being consumers of blue innovation that is developed elsewhere. And I want to repeat that. We should not be comfortable with being consumers of innovation. We must be producers, we must be originators, and we must be exporters of ideas that are tailored to our context, reflect our wisdom, indigenous knowledge, and traditional practices, and also our drive, our ambition. Of course, this journey is not without challenges. Climate change has placed our marine ecosystems under severe stress. Ocean acidification. Our oceans are actually becoming more acidic because they're being forced to absorb more carbon dioxide because of all the carbon dioxide that's been put out into the atmosphere. Coral bleaching. Our corals are bleached because, one, the ocean acidification, but also because our oceans are getting warmer. Rising sea levels and rapidly warming waters are not projections. These are not things that you read will happen. That is our present reality. They are the realities that our coastal communities confront daily and which will continue to worsen. Our economic models for too long have extracted from the ocean without replenishing it. Our regulatory frameworks are outdated and under-enforced. Our small businesses lack access to the financial instruments that are needed to scale innovative solutions. Our youth are brimming with ideas, but they often lack the mentorship, the infrastructure, and the enabling environment to translate creativity into enterprise. These, fortunately, are not insurmountable challenges, but they do require decisive action, cross-sector collaboration, and sustained political commitment. And on this note, I must commend the government on its Youth Economy Initiative. This holds great potential to help create the institutional architecture that we need to allow that conversion of creativity to enterprise to take place. But if we are to heed the ocean's call, then we must begin by creating a national ecosystem that values and supports innovation at every level. Firstly, our education system must be recalibrated. And I'm happy that I'm here because I'm speaking to the Minister and the Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Education. That education system must be recalibrated, not simply to teach students how to follow instructions, but to inspire them to ask questions, to solve problems, and to take initiative. Science, technology, engineering, and math must be taught alongside critical thinking, environmental literacy, and digital fluency. Every year, and this is a pet peeve of mine, every year, we applaud our primary and secondary school students who take part in the science fair. We have been doing this for decades, and I want to recognize one of the pioneers of the science fair, and I'm again going way back, way back, my former St. Aloysius R.C. Boys infant school teacher, Miss Agatha James, for her many years of dedicated service to this cause. However, the point I want to make about the science fair is the fact that every year, we treat the projects that are displayed like king and queen of the band costumes, carnival costumes. We judge them, we applaud them, we celebrate them, we award them on the day, but we discard them after. At least some carnival costumes continue to be displayed at our airports. No such luck with our science fair projects. All of the scientific inquiry, the creativity, the problem solving, and the presentation that went into creating the projects is forgotten by everyone except the students within weeks of the science fair. Some of these projects hold potential for upscaling and may have utility for solving current problems. Unfortunately, however, there is no process to turn these projects that have potential, that have promise, into prototypes. No mechanism to convert the innovation and creativity into practical solutions or sustainable enterprises that can contribute to national development. We must correct this. And the pairing of the Ministry of Education with the portfolios of innovation, science, and technology provides the best vehicle to make this happen. Secondly, our government policies and procurement processes must favor innovation. Ministries and public institutions must serve as catalysts, not obstacles, to experimentation and entrepreneurial risk-taking. This means simplifying regulatory procedures, offering tax incentives for sustainable innovation, creating a national innovation and technology sandbox. You know, a sandbox is where children go and they play. Well, we can create the equivalent of a sandbox where our innovators have that luxury for them to innovate, for them to try things without fear of having to go through all sorts of regulatory processes. Give them that opportunity for them to be creative, and maybe something will come out of it. And establishing national innovation funds that support early stage ideas, particularly in ocean sectors. Thirdly, we must strengthen linkages between academia, industry, and communities. The best innovations are born when researchers, business owners, and local knowledge holders co-design solutions. We need more living laboratories, places where theory meets practice, and where innovation serves both economic and social purposes. It is important to remember that innovation is not the exclusive domain of high-tech labs or large corporations. Some of the most impactful innovations are those that are born out of necessity, losing locally available resources. And that's something I learned at a very early age from my own mother. Necessity is the mother of invention. Consider initiatives, as we've heard from both Dame Paulette Louisy and Minister Sean Edward, Invictus in Labrie, experimenting with solar power desalination to solve our water crisis. And also, one of the more recent things they're working on, GPS-enabled FADs to enable the catch, to increase the catch of our fishes, but also allow our fishes to be able to identify those FADs when they may be moved around by ocean currents. Or Algas Organics, another solution, another young solution, using sargassum, which is a nuisance for us, but turning sargassum into a very effective liquid fertilizer. Or, as Minister Edwards said, the seamoss farmers on our East Coast who are creating a variety of seaweed-based products and marketing them through e-commerce platforms to regional and diaspora markets. Any one of you who has ever been to Whole Foods in the United States will see a plethora of products made from turmeric. What's turmeric? Chichima. Soursop products, ginger, sea moss, all of these things are being sold for high value in places like Whole Foods, Holland & Barrett in the UK, but these are products that we have at our disposal, which have been taken in raw material and converted into something and then sold sometimes back to us at a higher price. We can do better, and that's where innovation comes in. These are not isolated success stories. They are beacons of what is possible when we create space for community-led innovation. They're also examples of sustainable blue economy initiatives. So, what should we do collectively and individually? To government and public institutions, lead by example, as you've started doing here today. Institutionalize innovation. Invest in research and development. Create the legal and financial infrastructure that allows innovation to thrive. To the private sector leaders and entrepreneurs, embrace risk. Stop being so risk-averse. Seek out partnerships with the Sarfa Lewis Community College, our credit unions who have excess liquidity and who may be encouraged to invest in research, invest in innovation, and community-based organizations. Build business models that deliver triple bottom-line returns, economic, environmental, and social. To our young people and our students, believe in the value of your ideas. Seek mentors, pitch your innovations, and start where you are. Don't look to start. There's never a good time to start. It's never 5 years from now. Start where you are and build on what you have. The next solution to ocean plastic, to overfishing, or sea level rise might be in your notebook. It might be on your phone. It might be on your laptop, something you scribble down, waiting for a chance to be heard. Do not ever, ever lose your curiosity. Do not stop questioning the status quo. Do not simply ask why. Ask why not. There is always a better way and a more efficient way of doing something. Find it. And to every citizen, understand that innovation is not optional. It is an obligation. Whether you are a teacher, an artisan, a civil servant, a farmer, or a fisher, you can be an innovator. You can be part of a movement that transforms St. Lucia into a model of sustainable ocean development. If we are going to transform our country from always having to go cap in hand to the international community begging for support and assistance every year, to one that can fend for itself and one day even be able to offer support to another country or another community that needs it, then we must make innovation, research, and development our priorities. We have to start solving problems with our intellect and our creativity. We can do this, I am convinced. My friends, as your theme says, the ocean is calling, not with the whisper of a gentle tide, but with the urgency of a storm surge. It is asking us to become stewards of what we have inherited and architects of what we will pass on to the next generation. Let us answer this call not with hesitation, but with unwavering determination. Let us innovate boldly, sustain wisely, and prosper justly. Everybody has to be brought on board. This can't be something that only a few benefit from. Let us show that even a small island like ours can chart a bold course, guided by the compass of creativity, the map of sustainability, and the courage of conviction. In today's rapidly shifting world, one that is hungry for solutions, the most valuable currency is no longer the euro or the dollar. It is the neuron. It is brain power. While capital markets may trade in money, the innovation economy trades in ideas. And it is neurons, those tiny, tireless messengers of the mind that ignite imagination, link fragments of thought, and catalyze the cerebral activity that transforms vision into action. Neurons are the currency through which innovation flows. They carry questions, they build hypotheses, they challenge convention, and ultimately, they give shape to transformative solutions. Nations that recognize this truth, those that invest in minds, nurture creativity, and foster environments where ideas flourish, will be the true leaders of the 21st century. Because in this era, prosperity will not be determined by control over natural resources, as much as governments may fight over essential elements and the like. The ability to unlock and mobilize human potential is what will determine who are the survivors in this new knowledge economy. It is not balance sheets that will shape our destiny, but brainwaves. Those who have the foresight to invest in intellect, the courage to empower thinkers, and the wisdom to harness imagination will find themselves wealthier than any central bank could ever make them. So, may the symposium be a launchpad for bold ideas, for visionary collaboration, and for a renewed, resolute commitment to answering the ocean's call. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause for Dr. Fletcher and these important reminders. The teacher in me took note of the following, of the need for recalibration of the education system. I hear you, they hear you, we all hear you. And one more time, just to reiterate, in the words of Dr. Fletcher, or should I say Fletcher 2025, the ocean is calling not with the whisper of a gentle tide, but with the urgency of a thunderstorm. Or the last word. Right, storm still, that's what I said. Yes, thank you. Thank you once more, Dr. Fletcher, for those words. We appreciate it. Ding dong. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a special announcement. Ocean View, we have decided to provide a complimentary meal for all passengers today. At the end of your voyage, you will meet us to the back. The cabin crew will give you a free meal, compliments Ocean View. Remember, we listen to the ocean's call. Innovate, sustain, prosper. Our final stop, ladies and gentlemen, of interlude is here. We anchor now for a few minutes to appreciate the scenery of vocality and musicality of our very own cowboy, Silly. Doing for us some beach.
Thank you very much. Wow. Happy Creativity and Innovation Week. I'm going to sing a song. I'm sure most of you guys might not know this song, but the lyrics says it all. Driving down the interstate, running through the main slate, singing Margaritaville and minding my own. Some foreign cat driver dude with a race rouge attitude pull up beside me talking on his cell phone. And he started yelling like I did something wrong. I flipped him the bird and then he was gone. Some beach is somewhere. Oh, there's a big umbrella casting shade over an empty chair. Palm trees are blowing and warm breeze are blowing. I picture myself right there on some beach. somewhere. I circled the parking lot trying to find a spot just big enough I could park my old truck. A man with a big cigar was getting into his car. I stopped and I waited for him to back up. Then from out of nowhere a Mercedes Benz came cruising up and reached right in Sun Beach. It's somewhere, but there's no way to go and you got all day to get there. There's cold margaritas and hot senoritas smiling with long dark hair on some beach somewhere. While I sat in that waiting room, it seemed like all afternoon. The nurse finally says, "Dog's ready for you. You're not gonna feel a thing. We'll give you some Novocaine. That tooth will be fine in a minute or two." Then he started trailing like some gum. And he started trailing before I was on some beach somewhere. There's no way to go and you got all day to get there. Music and dancing, the lovers romancing on a salty evening on some beach somewhere. On some beach somewhere. Thank you so much, guys. Happy Creative Week.
Let's better for Cowboy Sealy, Some Beach. I heard somebody say encore, anchor. Which one? Right, just checking, just checking. Ladies and gentlemen, to close today's program, I now invite Mr. Michael Emmanuel, the IT officer at the Department of Innovation, to offer the vote of thanks, recognizing the many captains and crew members behind this remarkable event.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the Department of Education, Innovation, Science, Technology, and Vocational Training, I would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to our keynote speaker, Dr. James Fletcher. Thank you for sharing your insights and inspiring us to explore the boundless potential of creativity and innovation, especially within the context of the blue economy. A special thanks to the PIU of the UBEC St. Lucia, other partners and institutions for their unwavering support and contributions, and to all attendees. Your presence and engagement makes this event truly meaningful. As we celebrate World Creativity and Innovation Week, may the ideas exchange their ripple outward and spark real change. Thank you. We'd also like to offer a special thanks to someone who helped deliver on our mission and vision. On Administrative Day, she was on the road navigating our roadshow. The Innovation Division would like to thank our Secretary, Ms. Janella Charles.
Ding dong. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a special call for the staff of the Ministry of Education to please wait back for a special group photo. We shall use that group photo for our website at Ocean View. Thank you very much. And with that, we drop anchor on today's symposium. But the current of innovation continues beyond this space. Let's not stop here. Let's keep answering the call of the ocean. Innovate, sustain, prosper. Thank you all for joining us on this voyage today. Until we meet again, may your ideas sail far and your creativity run deep. I am Mr. Sam Ludovic, wishing you a beautiful end of voyage. Thank you. Thank you.